Have you gotten a chance to look around the aquarium yet?
Yes.
What's
Just
been
a
your
little bit.
favorite animal or favorite exhibit?
Probably the open feeding area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought the sea otters were kind of cool.
You like the sea otters?
Yeah.
There's actually some sea otters out here.
Okay.
I saw them a little while ago. And do you know what sea otters like to eat?
Clams and crabs.
Yeah, they eat actually a lot of the same stuff that we eat, especially right here in the bay. So clams and crabs and oysters and abalone and things like that. I'm going to ask you some questions about ocean acidification. Does that term mean anything to you? Have you ever heard of that before?
Not really.
Slightly. I've taken some environmental.
Okay. What does ocean
Classes.
acidification mean to you?
Well, I guess raising the acidity level of the ocean.
Does it sound like a good thing or a bad thing? Or do you not know?
Sounds bad.
What kind of impact do you think that changing the acidity of the ocean might have on marine life?
I would think that some animals are probably going to die. Some of the smaller, less adaptable creatures.
Yeah, and that's part of the concern is that the acidity is changing at a pretty rapid level, like maybe faster than some of the animals would be able to adapt to it. So that's part of the concern. And the animals in particular that scientists are worried about are animals with hard shells, which unfortunately encompasses a lot in the marine world. So some of the things that we were talking about, the otters relying on for food, like clams and oysters and abalone, some of the things we rely on for food, even all the way down to little tiny plankton and krill, have a kind of hard shell that encases their body. And scientists are worried that if the ocean continues to acidify, it'll reach levels where some of these animals won't be able to build these shells or won't be able to develop properly. And can you think of a way that that might impact your life?
Well, if there's higher levels in our food, higher acidity levels in our food, and we're eating it, it's not going to be good for us to eat.
And did you learn anything about why the oceans are becoming more acidic?
I don't. Probably. I mean, I would guess burning of fossil fuels that fall because most of the earth is covered by water, and
It is.
falls into the water, I guess.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. So the more fossil fuels we burn and the more kind of energy we produce in that fashion, the more carbon dioxide goes into the atmosphere, and then it gets absorbed by the ocean. The oceans are absorbing the carbon dioxide, and up to a point that's fine, but if it's happening at a really rapid level, then the oceans can't absorb it as fast, and it's basically depleting the calcium in the ocean that the animals need to make their shells. So can you think of any ways, or have you learned any ways that you could help to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide going out into the atmosphere?
Go ahead.
I guess not driving everywhere, carpooling.
Right.
Cleaner energy use.
Right. That hybrid car we have.
Yep.
And are there any things that you'd be willing to like pledge to do? Any kind of small changes that you'd say, yes, I could do this starting in a week?
I don't know. I mean, I would like to switch where we get our energy. I'd like to switch to the solar and wind energy compared to like coal burning and
Right.
that.
Right. We talked about switching over to what was that you
I
had
think it was
mentioned?
called pair energy or something.
Pair energy, but it didn't seem
Yeah,
very
I-
practical.
Well, I would like to bike more, but we don't really live in a community where I could really bike.
So I don't know if there's anything we can pledge. I don't know.
Well, the important thing is to find little changes that you
Right.
can make
Yeah.
and make the little changes, and then eventually maybe get to a point where you can make one of the bigger changes, like switching over to that energy sounds like
Right. Right.
a
That's
big
a
change,
big
a big
thing.
commitment.
Wish we could have more recycling in our area, like there is out here. More composting, recycling from a city perspective, but I don't know.
Yeah. If you can get lots of people in your neighborhood to
Right.
all feel the same way, then you might be able to make that
Right.
change. Usually, it takes a bunch of voices to
Yeah.
cause those things.